extraordinary gifts. They sit on the precipice to impact hundreds of thousands of lives for Christ around the world. They can do it on Facebook. They're beginning their mission. They're fully devoted followers. But remember, in the Christian life, it's not only how you start, but how well you finish that matters to God.
Paul writes in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 these words, "Do you not know that in the race all the runners will run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore," Paul says, "I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer who just beats the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, like 3 men, I myself will not be disqualified from the prize."
So what happened to Billy Graham? He had a family. He moved to North Carolina. He had lots of children. They weren't all perfect. If you read of Franklin Graham, he went through very difficult times. They had daughters that got divorced. They had difficulties, but they were a praying family. And every night, the Graham children say they heard their mother praying. They could hear her through the side furnace. They could hear her through the walls. And they knew of their dad's love for them every single minute. I was in the Christian bookstore the other day, and there was a brand new book out by Billy Graham. How to Live the Rest of Your Life Well. He lives with all the Billy Graham team there in Ashland. They all wanted to live together. They all wanted to have houses next door to each other. They all loved one another. I think that's what heaven's going to be like. They made wise and wonderful choices. Sometimes wrong choices. Mrs. Graham shares that Billy Graham became a president of a university, and that he was the worst president of any university in the entire world. He was the right man in the wrong job. They went through struggles early in life. Mrs. Graham tells a story of that he was such a pinch penny at times that when he opened up his wallet, he only had a $5 bill and a $20 bill. Oh, they didn't have much money in those days, and as it went by, he started to pull the 5, and the 20 caught on, and the 20 went in the plate. And it went on by, and all week long he complained. "Oh, that 20. Oh, that 20. She said, "Stop complaining. The Lord doesn't give you credit for it anyway. You have to give with joy." My favorite that I have heard in talking and going over the years to the Graham times are when they went to Hawaii, and she was sitting on the beach reading a good book. And all of a sudden, down came laughter. And she thought, well, I wonder what those people are laughing at. She looked out at the ocean and didn't see anything funny. And then she saw this funny man walking down the beach, and he had plaid shorts and a striped top and a polka dot hat on his head. And then she realized, he's mine. That's the kind of fun we want to have in our life. We want to become real influencers with real hurts, with real people alongside that lift up our spirit. And that means being honest. It means being obedient. It means striving constantly after what I've seen each of you strive for over the last year. A strong sense of integrity, a strong sense of relationship, and a wonderful sense of joy. I got it! I figured it out! I have it. Keep that. Don't let the world take that away from you. Keep walking, keep being strong, each and every moment. Our students are going to be leaving soon. They're going to go to different places. Alyssa wants to travel. She'll be traveling over there one day. I'll bump into her in the middle of Germany one day and be glad that I've met her. Daniel leaves in a couple of weeks to go back to the place he was born in Ethiopia. I just told him a few minutes ago, he'll have all those kids down the street with a soccer ball, kicking it, having fun, and they'll be laughing at his loving jokes. Andrew shared he'd gone through struggle this year, and he learned how struggle was affecting his life, and he wanted the Lord to reign supreme. When we're honest, God will lift us up. I've watched Andrew since he was a little boy grow up on the basketball court. And Taylor will have a gift that he will walk down and he will share, and he will be a friend, and he will lift another's arms. What a special class, but be wary. There were 2 other people there, and at any moment, Billy Graham could have been and influenced by any of those men.
So today, we want to remind you that it's not just how you start, but it's how you finish that will really matter. So we want to send you off today as being a true influencer for Christ, and charge you to stay true to the greatest influence there is, God's Word and His Spirit. And to do that, we're going to give you something that can go in your pocket or your purse, or I'm sure one of you can find a way to attach it to your cell phone. I'm not quite sure. It is a small piece that has a cross on it to remind you of what the focus is. As I've had them in my pocket, I realize as soon as I touch it, I immediately know exactly what I'm feeling. And it has kind of a chord sense that's together, because the reality is, as Billy Graham learned, he couldn't do it alone. His victory of 60 years in ministry is because he built a team. And for you to finish that race, you'll need to find a team. People around you to support you. And it has a reminder on the back to do not be afraid. And I think that's a great message to anyone who wants to finish the course for God.
I'm going to read the bottom of this that we have that is about what we're giving them. When I put my hand in my pocket to bring out a coin or key, the cross is there to remind me of the price He paid for me. It reminds me, too, to be thankful for my blessings day by day, and strive to serve Him better in all that I do and say. It's also a daily reminder of peace and comfort to share with all who know my Master and give themselves to His care. So I carry a cross in my pocket, reminding no one but me that Jesus Christ is Lord of my life, if only I'll let Him be. We go to the next segment, and we get to see baby pictures. Next comes the fun part, the official part, almost. I'd like to invite the parents of Alyssa Almeida to come up on stage, and have Alyssa come over here.
Hello, everyone. Wow, this is a lot nervous-wracking than I thought it would be. I've been practicing now this for the past week, and somehow or another, I don't feel ready for this. So here we go. By the way, my name is Emil. This is my wife, Lori. And she's got things to say, so here we go.
So we're so excited to have this opportunity to share a little about Alyssa. When I was preparing for tonight, I came across this scripture and a poem which was written by Roy Lesson, and it's called Just Think. The scripture is Psalm 136, 3 and 4. Give thanks to the Lord of Lords, to him who alone does great wonders. Just think. Your daughter is here not by chance, but by God's choosing. His hand formed her and made her the person she is. He compares her to no one else. She is one of a kind. She will lack nothing that his grace can't give her. He has allowed her to be here at this time in history to fulfill his special purpose for this generation.
Well, as I was putting this together, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it was like from the very get-go. And the first moment that her and I got to spend some time together was when she was very recently born. We had to visit the hospital a lot because she was jaundiced and they were concerned about her health. So Mom would be at home, and Dad would take you to the hospital it seemed like every day to take blood from her. And she was really tiny, and it always amazed me how they could bring out so much blood. And I just thought that was just so unfair that so much blood would come out of this body in so many different points. So that was the first time that her and I connected as people. Imagine. She was also known for sleeping a lot. So when she was first born, she was the opposite of our other child. In fact, to a point that people even wondered if we actually had a second child, because we claimed her all the time, but she never came out. It was quite amazing. Later on, another thing that she was known for is that it didn't matter whether it was a small gift, a big gift. There was just this overjoy of excitement every time she got something, that she would turn into this altar screaming that it was just amazing. And everybody would just give her stuff just to see what she would react like. And then there'd be this grandest gratitude at the end. So it was something that I remember really well. At some point, when we moved to North Carolina, she also became a frog lover. I mean, it was just amazing how every night she would go out and she would get her own frogs. Now, I kind of associated with this because when I was younger, I too had a frog farm, believe it or not. It was just a thing to do, I guess. Later on, as she grew up, the next thing that we encountered that we so share is we love French bread. And between the two of us, we could wipe a whole loaf at breakfast time, and we so shared that over the years to this day. The next thing we also have in common, and we love music. Elvis and Frank Sinatra are one of our favorites, and we have that in common. And I'm very proud of her for liking such music that doesn't even fit this generation, so to speak. The next one is at one point or another, she also thought that it would be kind of fun to sing in Portuguese. Now, my dad to this day doesn't even live in the States, he lives in Canada. He thought that was such a wonderful thing because she doesn't even speak Portuguese, that you could sing in Portuguese. Can you imagine that? The most recent here is Alyssa, like her mom, just loves to read. Unlike me, unless there's pictures, I don't like reading. So we actually got a little bit of an issue here not long ago because she started hiding the books so she could read the books instead of doing her homework. It's a sick deal, I understand. Anyhow, over the last few years, Alyssa has defined herself as a person of great character. She's joyful, lively, radiant, confident, and lovable. Alyssa, your enthusiasm, contagious attitude will help you greatly. I wish you the best.
Oh, wait. And I'm forever grateful that we have the opportunity to homeschool. I love history, and I loved being able to spend time when we lived in North Carolina, going to Washington, D.C., and all the historical sites that we were so blessed to visit when we were living there. The funny thing is that when people ask you about your favorite homeschool memory, it's not about all the places you went, all the places you saw. It's about having indoor picnic lunches, watching Perry Mason, eating top ramen noodles. So, the past year we've seen you just grow and cement your relationship with Christ, and it just, I mean, as a parent, that means the most to us, and we couldn't want anything more for you. So in closing, we'd like to leave you with this blessing from Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast because he trusts in you. May the Lord's light guide your pathway, his presence protect you through every valley, his strength lift you above every mountain, his wisdom direct you in every decision, his peace keep you through every circumstance, and may his love cover you through all of your life. And you can have the books I took away back.
The next family I'd like to bring up are Mr. and Mrs. Antonelli. And Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Well, this is a special moment for us. By the way, my name's Joe Antonelli, this is Sandra, and we have 4 other kids in the audience there with us, as well as Daniel's uncles here. I have some thoughts here, see how close they stick to the script. But we just wanted to tell Daniel, first of all, that he is earning this diploma tonight. We're not giving him anything because Daniel is one of the hardest workers and an inspiration to watch. When you think of putting your nose to the grindstone, Daniel exemplifies that term. I mean, anybody here in our family can attest to the fact that he just sits in his room and he will just study and read and get his work done. He's a very independent worker. And it's kind of amazing because Daniel's been here 8 years, maybe 8.5 years now. So he couldn't even speak English 8 years ago. And to make this remarkable accomplishment of graduating, reading very hard books, and being challenged by the halls in their classical education, it was amazing to watch Daniel just grow and continue to learn. We're very proud of you, Daniel, and we're proud to call you our son. From the first time we met you, we knew you were a special boy, and you've grown up to be a special young man. And we know the Lord will do just very many powerful things in your life, and we're just excited to see what He will do with you. When we saw the pictures up there, it's funny, I didn't realize we had his picture from basketball. I had the pleasure of coaching him for 2 years at CYAA when he first came here. He didn't even know what basketball was, and he learned how to play basketball. He excelled at basketball. God's gifted him with athletic ability, and then I got the pleasure of coaching him for 4 years in a homeschool league, and just watching Daniel grow. We didn't win a lot of games, huh? Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. We had fun. He got to play with my other son, Nick, and it was just a good time of growing and learning a new sport. He's continuing to play that, and I know that God will use that with you too, and no matter what you do. When you go to, I think, Ethiopia, you will be playing soccer with those kids, and you'll also probably be teaching them how to play basketball. One verse that came to us that I want to read to you is Joshua 1:9. Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I think that's our verse for you, Daniel, that we want you to know, when you go to Ethiopia, when you come back here, whatever you are doing here, God will be with you and He will carry you through. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, we've talked about that tonight. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will guide your path. Daniel, I know that God will take you to many, many great places, and you will be an influence, helping many kids. Daniel's got a heart to help people who are less privileged or underprivileged, and I know that God will use that gifting, that ability, that desire that's on his heart to encourage many people out there. I want to talk about character. Daniel's got great character, and if we ever ask him where he's going, we know he's there. We ask him what he's doing, we know that's what he's doing. Daniel, his word is his bond, and you know that I like John Wooden. He's the late John Wooden, who's passed away. He has this to say about character. It says, be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. And Daniel's character is great, therefore his reputation is great. And I don't think anybody who knows Daniel knows that he doesn't care about what others think about him. He just knows that he's going to do the right thing, and he always does the right thing. And we are proud of that fact, and because of that, you are a man of character, and we know that today is just the beginning of a new stage for you. You're going to go on, take this diploma, and use that in your next stage in life. This is a big year. It's a big year for all four of you. You know, you're moving on. There's a lot of unknowns out there. You've been used to being in school, and now you're going to take this and go on to the next path, and I know that God's going to use you in a mighty way, Daniel. I want to leave, this is a charge that King David on his deathbed provided to his son, and I felt that this verse would be apt for today, for this evening. 1 Kings 2:2-4. So be strong, act like a man, and observe what the Lord your God requires. Walk in obedience to him and keep his decrees and commands, his laws and regulations, as written in the law of Moses. Do this so that you may prosper in all you do and wherever you go. Daniel, that's my charge to you. Thank you, Daniel, for being such a great son. Love you.
Beautiful sentiment. I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to do this with my daughter. But she graduated before we started having graduation ceremonies. I'm not sure if I could do that. I would cry through the whole thing. Next family we have up is Mr. and Mrs. Brown and Randy Brown.
This is my wife, Carol. Manu's got 5 siblings in the audience. An exciting family. Andrew, a little over 18 years ago, God blessed us with you, and we wouldn't want it any other way. This has been a challenging year with many ups and downs. So what can we say to you on this day of celebration? I already gave my speech.
Okay, this is really hard. We have so many good memories of you growing up. You were always all boy with your trucks and your Lego creations. Born between 2 girls, you knew how to tone it down some, and you played animals and other games that they would dream up and they would want you to join in. Amy wants you to remember Tiger and Lion. I remember read-alouds and Henry the Explorer and Snuggles. I remember how you loved seeing the street light out your upstairs window at our old house. We had so much fun in that little backyard pool. You made the most amazing mud mountains over by the little garden. I remember out of all the kids, you didn't want to move because you loved that house. We had trips to Legoland and the zoo with friends, and back then we could stuff our family and the Evans family in one carpool van, and before that, their old blue Suburban. We did double up seatbelts once in a while.
And you finally got your first little brother, and he has loved following in your footsteps, playing basketball. We'll miss going to your games and watching you race across the court. There were wonderful family memories of trips to Yosemite and all the things we saw and did there in God's amazing country. ICAP Theater provides some great memories. You played right here on the stage. Some great characters from Sherlock Holmes to Long John Silver. Still don't know how you stayed on one leg, crutch for the whole play. And you can actually sing.
Okay, I remember when you were around 15 and growing up so fast, I was pondering what was going to happen to you in this crazy world. And at this time, you started an eBay business customizing Lego figures, and you did really well. At this time, I also felt God speak to me that you were His and that He had His hand on your life, because that business came from God to you and not through me or your dad.
You've served in Joshua Tree, belaying and holding the lives of other people in your hands, and being a blessing to the climbers. Every year you've served at the homeschool fair. You worked hard in high school, and in everything you did well. You balanced a job, varsity basketball, and Riverbend. The little boy who hated to write really became an excellent writer. Riverbend was a huge undertaking, and while there were some struggles, you kept at it.
There are many people here today who really care about you. They've told me so and been there for you and our family. They've been a blessing to you, and you've been a blessing to them in many ways.
And we are very proud of you. You may not always make the right decisions. No one ever does. But you do face them with integrity. We have not been perfect parents. There's only one who is perfect. Your younger siblings will benefit from our mistakes. But we have done our best and loved you so much.
We want you to know who you really are. We all need to be reminded of this because this world is very good at reminding us otherwise. You are the beloved of Christ. His righteousness is yours, and because of this, you are free. We all forget we are free, and we often go around acting like we are not, but we are free, and our identity is secure because of Jesus. You are secure and clean and loved by the Most High God. Remember that always. If you forget everything else, just remember that. We will always be there for you no matter what. You can hold on to that, and you can hold on to Him.
God has lots for you to do, Andrew. It all won't be easy, but He will equip you and give you what you need just in the right time. God bless you, Andrew John Brown, today and always.
And next we have Mr. and Mrs. Wendell and Taylor.
Oh boy. I'm actually going to try to start because I don't know if I can get through it. And then I'll let him take over. I'm so proud of you. I was going to try to make it personal and try to share some personal things about Taylor when he was small. I don't think I can get through it. So I'll share some of the stuff that I wrote down and then let Brian expand a little bit. For those of you that don't know me, it's really hard to believe that I'm standing here right now looking at my homeschooled high school graduate. When Taylor was in 2nd grade, some of our closest friends were homeschooling their daughter, and my sister was
Okay, show of hands, family and friends. Who knew this was going to happen?